Winning the lottery is already nearly impossible. The odds are 1 in 292.2 million, but even those lucky winners have nothing on the rarest, craziest moments in lottery history. Some of these stories are so unbelievable, they are basically 1 in a billion. Let's hear those 1 in a billion moments in lottery history. Number 10. 3 different wins. This is the almost unbelievable story of Bill Morgan. It all started with a terrible truck accident. Bill was lucky to survive, but the crash left him badly injured, and recovery was not easy. But he fought through it. He got better. And just when life seemed to settle down, something unbelievable happened. One day, Bill bought a lottery ticket. Maybe it was just for fun, maybe he was not expecting much. But when he checked his numbers, he realized that he had won. And not just a small prize, a full jackpot. It was a life-changing amount of money. After everything he had been through, it felt like fate had finally given him a break. His story spread, and soon a television show invited him to recreate his big win on camera. It was supposed to be just that, a reenactment of his lucky moment. But then, lightning struck twice. While filming the show, Bill decided to buy another lottery ticket. He picked a random number out of habit. When he checked the numbers, he realized that he had won again. And not just a couple of dollars, it was another jackpot. Right there, while pretending to win for the cameras, he actually won. The exact moment he was recreating happened all over again. People spend their whole lives hoping to win once. Some buy tickets every week and never see a dime. But Bill won twice, once after surviving a near-death experience, and again while acting out his first win. Some would call it fate, others would call it impossible. Either way, Bill's story is one of the luckiest lottery moments in history. Still, it was not the rarest moment in lottery history. Well, it was just Bill who won the jackpot in this story. There was a true 1 in a billion moment that included 110 winners. Number 9. 110 lucky winners. It happened back in 2003. A single draw produced not 1, not 2, but 110 winners. At first, lottery officials suspected a mistake. They thought maybe it was a technical glitch or maybe someone was committing fraud. After all, lottery jackpots don't usually get split between over 100 people. But when they started investigating, the truth was even more surprising. It all came down to fortune cookies. You see, the winning numbers were 22, 28, 32, 33, 39, and 40. These were not picked at random. They came straight from a set of lucky numbers printed inside fortune cookies made by a company called Wonton Food Incorporated. Hundreds of people had opened their cookies, seen the numbers, and decided to play them in the lottery. And somehow those numbers hit. Each of the 110 winners took home a prize ranging from $100,000 to over $500,000, depending on how much they had bet. Normally, a single winner would have walked away with millions, but because so many people played the same numbers, the prize had to be split. Still, none of them were complaining. It was free money, all thanks to a cookie. Lottery officials were stunned. They confirmed there was no foul play, just an unbelievable coincidence. Fortune cookies had actually worked. Since then, people have been paying closer attention to those little slips of paper. Most of the time, they're just fun messages. But in 2003, they turned into a golden ticket. Number 8. The forgotten ticket. The next 1 in a billion lottery moment happened to a couple who almost lost a fortune because of a simple mistake. It all started with an old book. One day, while sorting through their bookshelf, a couple found a dusty Japanese novel they hadn't opened in years. They became curious, and so they flipped through the pages, and something fell out. It was a lottery ticket. At first, they barely paid attention. It was old, probably worthless by now, but something told them to check the numbers just in case. So they looked it up. Their hearts almost stopped when they found that the ticket was a winner. In fact, it was not just a small prize, it was a massive jackpot. They had been sitting on life-changing money for who knows how long, completely unaware. But there was one problem. Lottery tickets have expiration dates. Winners have a limited time to claim their prize, and this ticket was nearly too late. They only had 2 days left before it expired forever. So panic set in. They scrambled to find all the necessary paperwork. They double-checked the ticket, made sure it was not damaged, and rushed to the lottery office. Lucky for them, they made it on time. The ticket was verified and their prize was secured. Just like that, they went from almost missing out on a fortune to becoming official lottery winners. While their luck waited 6 months to reach them, this next winner got everything in a single day. Number 7. The luckiest day ever. Most people buy one lottery ticket and hope for the best, maybe two if they're feeling extra lucky. But Deborah Brown took luck to a whole new level. One day in 2019, something just felt different. As Deborah was picking her numbers, she kept seeing the same combination over and over again: 1031. It felt like a sign, so instead of buying just one ticket, she went all in. She bought 30 tickets with the exact same numbers. It seemed like a risky move. After all, what were the chances that those numbers would actually hit? Most people would say close to none, but Deborah trusted her gut. And then the impossible happened. The winning numbers for that day's Pick 4 lottery were 1031, which means Deborah didn't just win once, she won 30 times. Every single one of her tickets was a winner. Each ticket was worth $5,000, meaning her total prize was $150,000. From a single day, a single number choice, and a whole lot of confidence, Deborah turned an ordinary day into one of the luckiest in lottery history. When asked about her win, she said she was blown away. She couldn't believe that her instinct had been right, but there it was. Proof that sometimes luck doesn't come just from picking the numbers. You have to believe in them. Just like this next winner believed in his numbers and won in the rarest way possible. Number 6. The Last Chance. This is the story of Aura Dominguez Canto. Some people play the lottery once and forget about it. Others stick to their numbers hoping one day luck will be on their side. Aura Dominguez Canto was one of those people. For an entire month, she played the same numbers every single day. Ticket after ticket, drawing after drawing, there was no luck. But she didn't give up. She kept buying, believing that maybe, just maybe, her time would come. Then she reached the end. She had decided that this would be her last ticket. If she didn't win this time, that was it. She was not going to play anymore. And then everything changed. Aura checked her numbers, just like she had so many times before. But this time, something was different. She won $30 million. Think about that. She played the same numbers for an entire month, nearly gave up, and on the very last ticket, she hit the jackpot. The timing could not have been more perfect. If she had stopped even one day earlier, she would have walked away with nothing. Lottery officials confirmed the win, and Aura's life changed in an instant. After years of hoping, after weeks of persistence, her patience finally paid off in the biggest way possible. Her win was as unexpected as that of this next person, who played the lottery out of spite. Number 5. Winning out of spite. When you ask people why they buy lottery tickets, most of them would tell you that they dream of winning big. But there is one Glenda Blackwell who bought a ticket just to prove a point. Her husband had been asking her to buy lottery tickets for years. He loved the idea of hitting the jackpot, but Glenda thought it was a total waste of money. One day in 2016, he asked her to buy a couple of Powerball tickets. But instead of following his request, she did something different. Out of pure spite, she bought a scratch-off ticket instead, just to prove to him that gambling was a bad idea. She was ready to show him firsthand that lottery tickets never pay off. And then, fate did something hilarious. She scratched the ticket. She was expecting to see nothing, but instead she saw something unbelievable. She had won $1 million. The ticket she bought to make a point made her a millionaire instead. At first, she was in complete shock. This was supposed to be proof that the lottery was a waste. Instead, it was proof that sometimes life has a sense of humor. With her winnings, she and her husband bought a new house and set aside money for their grandchildren's future. What started as an act of frustration turned into one of the luckiest moments of her life. Number 4. A second chance. This next story is of Nick Slatton from March 2021. Nick is a Tennessee man who had just finished work when he stopped by a convenience store and bought a lottery ticket for fun. The next morning, he checked the numbers and could not believe what he saw. He had won $1.18 million. Excited and overwhelmed, he immediately called his fiancée to share the news. He also went to visit his brother and told him all about his amazing win. But in all the excitement, he didn't realize one important thing. His ticket was missing. At some point during his morning errands, he had lost it. Maybe it fell out of his pocket, maybe he left it on a counter, he had no idea. He started panicking, as he should have. The ticket was the only proof he had that he was a winner. If someone else found it, they could claim the prize. Nick retraced his steps. He checked everywhere he had been that morning. An hour later, in a parking lot outside an auto parts store, he saw something on the ground. It was a small piece of paper. Yes, it was his ticket. It had been sitting there the entire time untouched. He picked it up, his heart racing, and rushed straight to lottery officials to claim his prize before anything else could go wrong. Nick called it a miracle. Losing a winning ticket could have been the worst moment of his life, but instead, fate gave him a second chance. Now, on to the next 1 in a billion moment in lottery history. This time, the winner took many days to realize she was holding a multi-million-dollar ticket. Number 3. In plain sight. Oksana Zaharov never planned on spending big on a lottery ticket. She walked into a store in New York one day and asked for a $1 scratch-off ticket just for fun, but the clerk made a mistake and handed her a $10 ticket instead. Oksana didn't feel like making a fuss over a few extra dollars, so she just kept the ticket. But instead of scratching it right away, she tucked it into a book and completely forgot about it. For days, it sat there, untouched in her book. In fact, she started using it as a bookmark. Then one day, she finally decided to scratch it. She was not expecting much, maybe a couple of dollars back if anything. But as she revealed the numbers, she could not believe her eyes. She had won $5 million. Yes, the ticket she almost never bought, that she forgot about, and that she used as a bookmark for days, was actually worth a fortune. She later joked that she felt like she was dreaming. With her winnings, she planned to take her family on a vacation and secure her children's future. If she had never scratched it, she might have tossed it away without ever knowing. The luckiest mistake turned into one of the biggest wins of her life. Sometimes the rarest moments bring happiness and joy, but sometimes they bring nothing but regret. This next lottery story is one of the most heartbreaking near wins in history. Number 2. Washed up hopes. In 2020, a woman in California bought a Super Lotto Plus ticket from a convenience store in Norwalk. It was just another routine purchase, like so many before. She probably didn't think much about it at the time. But this ticket was different. It was a winning ticket. In fact, it was not just any win, a $26 million jackpot. But she never claimed it. Do you know why? Because she washed it. Months later, as the deadline to claim the prize approached, lottery officials made a public announcement that the winning ticket was still unclaimed. That's when the woman realized the unthinkable. She had tucked the ticket into the pocket of her jeans, completely forgetting about it. At some point, the jeans went through the washing machine and the ticket was destroyed. She rushed to the store where she had bought it, desperate for any way to prove her win. Employees even reviewed security footage and confirmed that she purchased a ticket that day. But without the physical ticket, the rules were clear that she could not claim the prize. $26 million gone just like that. In the end, the money was not completely wasted. According to California's lottery rules, when a jackpot goes unclaimed, the prize money is given to public schools. So while she lost her fortune, students across California benefited from it. Still, it's hard not to imagine how life-changing that money could have been for her. One simple mistake cost her millions. So the lesson here is to always check your pockets before doing laundry, because sometimes a fortune might be hiding inside. Number 1. Mathematical lottery genius. Now it's time to share one of the most mind-blowing and unbelievable lottery stories ever. This is the story of a man named Jerry Selby, who was a retired mathematician from Michigan, and he didn't just play the lottery, he cracked it. In 2003, Selby was reading about a new state lottery game called Windfall when something caught his attention. Unlike most lotteries where the jackpot keeps growing until someone hits all the numbers, Windfall had a unique rule. If no one won the jackpot, the prize money would roll down to smaller winners, to people who matched 4 or 5 numbers instead of all 6. To most people, that seemed like a small detail, but to Jerry, it looked like a golden opportunity. Using his math skills, he realized that during these roll-down weeks, buying enough tickets could almost guarantee a profit. He did the calculations and saw that by purchasing thousands of tickets, his odds of winning smaller prizes increased. So he tested his theory. He bought $3,600 worth of tickets during a roll-down week and won $6,300. That's when he knew he was onto something big. Instead of keeping the secret to himself, Jerry scaled up. He and his wife started buying hundreds of thousands of tickets. Eventually, they even formed a group of investors, raising millions to purchase tickets in bulk. Over time, they legally won $26 million using nothing but math and strategy. But winning that much money did not go unnoticed. Authorities grew suspicious because it seemed impossible for a group of people to win millions over and over. The authorities were sure there was some kind of fraud involved that they were not aware of. But when officials investigated, they found something shocking. Jerry and his team had done nothing wrong. There was no hacking, no fraud, just a brilliant brilliant mind exploiting a loophole that the lottery itself had overlooked. Once the secret was out, other groups tried to copy the strategy, and eventually, lottery officials shut the game down to prevent future exploits. But by then, Jerry and his investors had already walked away with millions. This was a true one-in-a-billion moment. While most lottery winners rely on pure luck, Jerry used his knowledge, math, and strategy to beat the odds. He proved that sometimes the smartest person in the room does not need luck at all. And that wraps up some of the most unbelievable one-in-a-billion lottery moments in history. But the world of lottery wins never stops. Even in 2025, new record-breaking jackpots and mind-blowing stories are being made. If you want to see the biggest lottery jackpot winners of 2025, click on our next video. We'll see you there. Goodbye.